ॐ ह्रीं नमो अरिहन्ताणम् ॐ ह्रीं नमो सिद्धाणम् ॐ ह्रीं नमो आयर्याणम् ॐ ह्रीं नमो उवचायाणम् ॐ ह्रीं नमो लोये सबसाहुणम् ऐसो पञ्चनमोकारो सव्यपाविपरासनो मङ्गलाणं च सव्येसिं परमं हवै मङ्गलम् परमं हवै मङ्गलम्. We'll do Om Rishabhai Namah for the 9 times. Om Rishabhaya Namah. Om Rishabhaya Namah. Om Rishabhaya Om Rishabhaya Namah. 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 This is the first day of our class, so we are going to start the class. Before going to start the class, just let me introduce something to you all. So, learning from home, Bhaktamar Stotra. From learning from home, follow the basic rules that how much with concentration you all can learn, because you all are the small kids, and the small kids brain may go here and there. So what you have to do, only focus on the learning. You have only 1 hour, and devote your 1 hour, and within few days you will know that you have learned the 48 sloks of Bhaktamar Stotra. So we are going to discuss here about Bhaktamar Stotra. We will learn about the pronunciation. We will talk about the description. We will talk about the meanings. Each word meaning we will learn, stories, and many more things we will learn. So the first we are going to learn the Bhaktamar. So what's the meaning of the word Bhaktamar? We have to know. So just to do it, Bhakt plus Amar. Bhakt is a true devotee, and Amar is an immortal person. An immortal person is the who never dies. So the main meaning of Bhaktamar is a true devotee and an immortal person. Now if we go further, what is the legend of the Bhaktamar Stotra? Why did the Acharya Mantung has given Bhaktamar Stotra? Who was the Acharya Mantung? We should know it first. So the question is, the author of this Bhaktamar Stotra is Acharya Manitung, who was a very talented scholar, eminent missionary, and a great ascetic, and a great monk, we can say. And each and every word of Bhaktamar reveals his enlightening devotion and infinite faith in the Lord Jinnah. In the year 1100 AD, there was a king, great king we can say. It's not a simple king, who was a very great king, and his name was Bhoj. And he used to live in the Ujjain in the city of Malwa. It's a place in India. Now King Bhoj was a learned king of unsurpassed rank, we can say, and itself he was the author of Sanskrit poetry. He used to write the big poetries and many things. Great poet Kalidas was one of the members of his assembly. Royal court. One Jain poet, Dhananjay, was also becoming famous those days in the city. One day what happened? King Bhoj called the Dhananjay in his royal court and get introduced with him and praised him for his poems and wisdom. He said, "What a wonderful poet you have made. Where did you have learned?" Then Dhananjay told the king very politely that all his wisdom and knowledge was due to his teacher, and his teacher was none other than Acharya Manitum, a Jain Muni. He said that all the knowledge is due to the blessing of Acharya Manitum. After knowing, you see what the reaction did. After knowing about the praiseworthy of Acharya Manitum, King Bhoj desired to meet with Acharya. King Bhoj ordered his servants to bring Acharya Manitum to his royal court with honor. And at that time, Acharya were staying at Bhojpur and doing tap for self-realization and purification, because the main intention of Acharya was that how much he can make the self-purification. Now the servant of the King Bhoj reached there, prayed Acharya again and again to go with them to meet their King Bhoj. But ascetic saints have no purpose in meeting with the king or any other person. The monk replied, "What I have done, what I have to do at the royal place, only those go to the court who are either concerned with it or have committed an offense, and I have done nothing this all. Then why should I go as I am an ascetic?" So Acharya engrossed again in the deep thought or meditation. Now you see what servant did. Servant returned to the king and told about their failure. The king Bhoj became angry and he ordered to bring the Acharya forcefully in his royal court. Servants does the same thing as what the king has ordered, and the servant do the same, and thus Acharya were brought before the king Bhoj. The king praised Acharya and requested to give some religious precepts to the audience. But up to that time, looking unfavorable situations, Acharya was very silent. He said, "No, I will not say a single word also." So all the prayers and requests of the kings were all in vain. One Acharya is saying and he is not respecting one king is saying and is not respecting the Acharya. The king became angry and he ordered to his soldiers to place the Acharya in prison. Thus, Acharya Manitum was put under arrest in 48 chambers, not in 1, 2, 3, 4. Total how much? 48 chambers under locks and chains. In the prison, Acharya Manitum entered the heavenly realms of the Lord Adinath. We call it Lord Rishabh also. And started the prayer of Lord Rishabh. He wrote in Sanskrit language a great poem, the Bhaktama Stotra, having 48 stanzas. The chants and prayers of the Manitum were thus in full brim, flowing with the unbound energy of chain reaction. And due to the effect of Bhaktama Stotra, Acharya Manitum no more remained imprisoned. He came out of the locks and went out of the locks and went straight out of the prison. The God shows this miracle The guards awoke and saw the miracle, but thinking about the self-ignorance, he again closed Acharya in prison and checked the locks firmly. But after some time's lock of the prison again opened and the Acharya were free again. Now the guards went hurriedly to the king and said about the whole story. Now the king was also surprised. King had realized the power of Jainism and surrendered completely to the facts. He said, okay, you are the right, and Jainism is the great religion here. King Bhoj fell down in the feet of Acharya. He pardoned for his mistake again and again, and he said, oh excellence, you were constituted as many ultimate particles as they were full of the peace of love. This is the reason for your unparalleled and beautiful form in the whole universe. So after that, Acharya Manitung went away in the Dhara city, and the story goes on very big. And now this 48 pillars, we call it a pair of footprints of Acharya Manitung are installed on the shrine, and at a distance of 13 kilometers from the Dhara, there is a kind of village in the Ahu ruins. There are 48 pillars. Now it can also be seen where Acharya were kept during the prison. So it is said that the legend of the Bhaktamar Stotra is certainly a powerful stotra in which you can see there are many sadhus and sadhvis, Shravak and Shravikas. There are who recite in the morning. In the morning you can see. So today, first we will discuss about the first two shloks we will discuss. So before discussing the two sloks, we already have in the praise of first Tirthankar, Rishabh Bhagwan, who has given the craft and everything. So the word Adi means the first or beginning, we can see. So in the praise of Adinath, Acharya Manitung has given the stotra. So now who composed the sutra? All of you came to know that the stotra was composed by the Acharya Manitung. Why should we recite the Bhaktamar stotra? See, the main thing is that why you all came here to learn the Bhaktamar stotra. The basic thing is to get rid of all kashayas: attachment, aversion, anger, ego, deceit, greed, etc. All the bad habits, all the kashayas we can remove, and we can go to the moksha. For example, you see, there are three types of clothes. One cloth is a dry cloth, one cloth is a wet cloth, and the third one is an oily cloth. In dry clothes, just you will make it simply from the hand, the sand will go away. In the wet clothes, you have to clean it from the water. And in the oily clothes, you have to put a lot of efforts. You have to put some bleach or anything else. So the clothes, if you do the same thing, cloth is like a soul. So if we don't want to make our soul dirty, so what we have to do? We have to make our soul more purer and purer. For that, we have to recite the Bhaktamar Stotra. If we recite daily Bhaktamar Stotra, we can make our soul very purer and purer, and the ultimate goal we can reach to the Moksha Gati. Now first we will pronounce the first slok of Bhaktamar Stotra. I think so many of you know. So if you know also, then also you can recite with me. So the first word is Bhakta. So you have to say Bhakta, Bhaktamara, Bhaktamara, Pranata, Pranata, Bhaktamara, Pranata, Mauli, Mauli, Bhaktamara, Pranata, Mauli, Mani, Mani, Bhaktamara, Pranata, Mauli, Mani, Prabhana, Prabhana, Again, we will recite the first line. Bhaktamara pranata maulimani prabhana. Bhaktamara pranata maulimani prabhana. Mudyotakam dalite papa mudyotakam dalite papa tamo mudyotakam dalite papa tamo vitanam mudyotakam dalita papa tamo vitanam. Again, 2 lines we will repeat it. Bhaktamara pranata maulimani prabhana mudyotakam dalite papa tamo vitanam. Samyak pranamya samyak pranamya jina samyak pranamya jina padayugam samyak pranamya jina padayugam yugada samyak pranamya jina padayugam yugada. We will repeat the 3 lines. Bhaktamara pranata maulimani prabhana mudyotakam dalite papa tamo vitanam samyak pranamya jine padayugam yugada. 4th line. Valam banam valam banam bhava valam banam bhava jale valam banam bhava jale pata tam valam banam bhava jale patetam jananam valam banam bhava jale patetam jananam. The whole line we will, the whole stanza we will repeat. Bhaktamara pranata maulimani prabhana mudyotakam dalite papatamo vitanam samyak pranamya jine padayugam yugada valam banam bhavajale patetam jananam. Now whole slok we will do in the singing way. Bhaktamara pranate maulimani prabhana mudyotakam dalite papatamo vitanam samyak pranamya jine padayugam yugada valam banam bhavajale patitam jananam. We'll sing one more time. Bhaktamara pranite maulimani prabhana mudyotakam dalite papatamo vitanam सम्यक् प्रणम्य जिनिपादे युगं युगादा वालं वरं भवजले पतितां जनानाम्. Now we'll concentrate on one meaning. Bhaktamara. What is the meaning of Bhaktamara? Devotee lords. Next comes Pranata, means bowing down. Next, Mauli, crown. Mani, gem. Prabhana, glows. Udyotakam, intensifies the radiations. Dalita, destroyed. Papatamu, darkness of sins. Samyak, right way. Pranamya, bowing down. Jina, Rishabh Bhagwan. Padayugam, to the feet of Rishabh Bhagwan. Yugado, in the beginning of our time, in the beginning of the era. Alambanam, support, protection. Bhavajale, in the ocean of worldly attachment and sorrows. Patitam, drowning. Jananam, mortals. So the whole meaning of the stotra is, I bow down respectfully at Tirthankar's feet that brighten the crowns of the devoted devas, that destroy the expanse of darkness of saints, that protect the mortals drowning in the ocean of the world since the dawn of our era. So this is the meaning of the first sloka. Now we can focus that why all this happened. So it is said in the first sloka, Bhaktamar, homage is paid to the feet of the Lord Rishabh. We have done in the feet of the Lord Rishabh. Now the sloka conveys the significance of paying homage to the feet. Although it is said that the brain is the most powerful organ in our body, in the whole body, if anyone asks you, which is the most powerful organ in your body? The answer will come, the brain is the most powerful. But here, Acharya Manitung has said the most powerful organ in your body is the feet. This because we can say, it is said that the human body is similar to a tree, where roots have their due importance. In our lives, we tend to ignore the roots and acknowledge the leaves, flowers, and fruits. We see what a beautiful flower is, what a beautiful fruits are, but people forget to see the roots. In reality, roots are the real strength and bedrock of the inner beauty of a tree. Now, homage is paid to the feet as they are the foundation of our body. A person who pays homage to any other part of the body, ignoring the bottom feet, it means that he does not know what is the right thing. So nothing will flourish until the roots are nourished. Now you see, have you heard about the acupressure or anything also? So those who know the theory of acupressure, they know the importance of the feet. What is an eye? Eye is not merely through which we see the world. Its corresponding point lies in our feet too. All the neurons, you can see sight, taste, auditory, organ like heart, liver, spleen, all the parts of the body lies in nerves point are in our feet. Now, a doctor who specializes in acupressure remarked Jain Acharyas have always been wise scholars. Why Jain Acharya is a very wise scholar? Because he knows what is right and what is wrong. They recognize the fact that the feet are the foundation of our body and have formulated a rule to walk bare feet. You have seen in India, Jain monks, they walk the bare feet. What is the reason? So it is said that many health issues also go away when the people walk without the feet. So now it's saying that you also have seen the tradition that the mother-in-law and they all bow down to their mother-in-law, son bow down to their father, everything you all bow down maybe. So bowing down to the feet is a sign of politeness and humbleness. Just I remembered one story of Mahabharata. When Mahabharata was going to take place, there were two men, Duryodhan and Yudhishthir. And Duryodhan and Yudhishthir both went to Lord Krishna. As Lord Krishna was sleeping, Duryodhan went first and afterwards went Yudhishthir. Duryodhan sat beside the head of the Lord Krishna, and Yudhishthir was sitting in the feet side. As Lord Krishna wake up, he saw that the Yudhishthir came. He asked Yudhishthir, say, what you want? Duryodhan said, I came first. Now you have to ask me first. But he said, I saw first to Yudhishthir. How can I ask you? Yudhishthir said, yes, he came first. Okay? And the story goes very big. Now Duryodhan said that I want one thing from you. Krishna said, yes, tell me what you want. He said, I want all the soldiers, all the instruments, everything, armaments, everything I want from you because Mahabharata is going to take place. Now the turn came of Yudhishthir. He asked Yudhishthir, Krishna, what you want? He said, Lord, I don't want anything. Just I want you. Said, okay. Now what the result came? Who won? Yudhishthir and 5 Pandavas born. Why they have born? Because we'll go to the root that Yudhishthir had the politeness. So a person who is having the politeness, they will win in all the sign. So here it is said that the Acharya Manitum, what he is doing? He is bowing down in the feet of the Lord Rishabh. So now Indra also paid homage to the feet of the Lord Rishabh with right faith and in the right manner. So paying homage is an art. So what you all are the kids also, what you all can do? See, learning Bhaktamar is very good. But in Bhaktamar also we can learn many new things. So in Bhaktamar, what you can learn, just as you get up in the morning, what you can do? Just as you get up, first thing you can bow down to your parents or whoever is elder than you. So you will see in 1 week what you will find, that your brain power is also increasing. Whatever you are wanting in your life, that all thing will increase. Now here it is said that why Acharya Manitum is born down to Lord Rishabh. So it said that the Lord Rishabh was born in an era when Yugal, it means a couple or a pair of 5 sons who was born in the twins. They were born in the brother and sister. And Lord Rishabh was only that who was formulated a foundation for the beginning of new era. He gave farming, he taught the farming, engineering, commerce, language, everything. Who taught? Everything was taught by the Lord Rishabh. So Acharya Manitum, what he did? He paid homage to the pious feet of Lord Rishabh. And Lord Rishabh was that one which enlightens our soul, one which supports us, and one which destroys the sin from our brain. That's why Acharya Manitum is paying homage to the Lord Rishabh in the first slok. Now you guess, life is full of obstacles. If you want to remove the obstacles in your life, you can just recite number 1 slok. Believe in body. See, why the obstacles come? Because believe in the body. See, there is an iPhone. Everyone has the iPhone, iPad. Just you think iPhone is a body and software and the same. Software is mental and the same is Atma. If there is no Atma, if there is no mental purity, how you will get the marks? So you have to take care of your soul also, to your mental ability also. And we must, that's why we must live in our soul. And if we live in our soul, we can live a happy life. Now, what are the results of the first law? See, the first law's result is a person will be, kids can increase their willpower. Whoever thinks that my willpower is very big, if you recite the first law, your willpower will increase. Second thing, happiness will increase. Day by day, you will feel more happier and happier. The third thing is, there will be more peace in your life. And the fourth one is bliss. Everywhere there will be bliss. Now, what you have to do, at least for 1 week, what you will do, try to recite daily 7 times the slow. And you will find that, oh, you are feeling more, you are increasing your willpower, you are increasing your happiness, peace, and the bliss. Now comes our second slow. All of you are ready to recite? Second slow. Yaha, yaha, sanstutaha, samstutaha, yaha, sanstutaha, sakala, sakala, yaha, sanstutaha, sakala, vangmaya, vangmaya, yaha sanstutaha sakale vangmaya tattva tattva yaha sanstutaha sakale vangmaya tattva bodha dudbhuta dudbhuta buddhi buddhi dudbhuta buddhi patubihi patubihi dudbhuta buddhi patubihi suraloka suraloka dudbhuta buddhi patubihi suraloka nathai nathai dudbhuta buddhi patubihi suralokanathai. We'll repeat the 2 lines. Yaha sanstutaha sakale vangmaya tattvabodha dudbhuta buddhi patubihi suralokanathai. Stotrayar Stotraya Jagatritaya Jagatritaya Stotraya Jagatritaya Chitta Chitta Stotraya Jagatritaya Chitta Harai Rudharai Harai Harai Stotraya Jagatritaya Chitta Harai Rudarahi Rudarahi Stotraya Jagatritaya Chitta Harai Rudharai. This Stosha will come in the 4th line. Stosha Stosha Kilahamapi Stosha kilahamapi tama tama prathamama jinendram स्तोष्ये किलाहमपितं prathamam jinendram. The whole 4 lines we will repeat. Yaha sanstutaha sakale vangmaya tatvabodha dudbhuta buddhi patubihi suralokenathai stotrayar jagatritaya chittaharairudarai stoshe किलाहमपितं prathamam jinendram. Again we will repeat. Yaha sanstutaha sakale vangmaya tatvabodha dudbhuta buddhi patubihi suralokenathai stotrayar jagatritaya chittaharairudarai stoshe kilahamapitam prathamam jinendram. Next, we will learn yaha sanstutaha sakale vangmaya tatvabodha Dudbhuta buddhi pajuvihi suralokenathai stotren jagatitaya chittaharai rudharai stoshe kilahamapitam prathamam jinendram. Again once more. Yah sanstutaha sakale vangmaya tatvabodha dudbhuta buddhi patubihi suralokenathai stotre jagatritaya chittaharai rudharai stoshe kilahamapitam prathamam jinendram. Now one meaning. Yaha, who, sanstutaha, has been praised, sakala, complete, vangmaya, canonical scriptures, tattva, true, bodha, from knowledge, udbhuta, rise. Next comes buddhi patubihi, the skill of wisdom, suralokenathai, celestial beings, stotraya, hymns, jagat, lok, world, we can say the 3 worlds, tritaya, 3, chittaharai, captivate the audience, rudharai, large, stoshai, will praise, kill, indeed, ahamapi, I too also, tam, that, prathamam, first, jinendram, tirthankar. So I will also praise to the first tirthankar, jinendram. The whole meaning of the sloka is Bhagwan Rishabdev, who has been praised. By whom he has been praised? He has been praised by the celestial lords of prudence from the true understanding of all the canons. There are 32 agams in Jain Shwetambar and Digambar beliefs in the 48 agams. So by the true understanding of all the canons through hymns, which are able to captivate the audience of the 3 realms, heaven, earth, and hell, I, who Manitung Acharya is saying, too shall indeed praising to realize that first Tirthankar Bhagwan Rishabh Dev. So what I am doing? I am also praising to the Lord Rishabh Dev. Now if we focus now in all the meanings, see, it is said that in the second slok of Bhaktamar, Acharya Manitung makes a resolution that I will praise to whom? To Lord Rishabh. And it is said that there are a lot of physical shackles as well as the mental blockages also. Like sometimes we will fear going in the darkness. Do you feel fear or not? Sometimes we will fear going in the darkness or any, I think so, small bugs also. The kids get afraid of them. Anxiety, negative thoughts cannot be broken if I don't praise you. If I praise you, my all the mental blockages, and if I am having any physical problem also, it will also break away. And how it will break away? If I will concentrate on you. So I am concentrating on you, Lord. So a very beautiful story comes whenever Tansen was a very good singer. So whenever Tansen used to sing in the court of the King Akbar, the king would get immersed in the music and would begin to sway the tunes. Involuntary moving of the head is a physical sign of being immersed. Following the king's lead, many of his courtiers also, what they do? They sway their heads too also. Now the king had knowledge of music and so he enjoyed the Tansen music also. However, the courtiers, to make the king happy, they also sway the heads. Now king thought an idea what to do. Now the one day the king got curious, how many of my courtiers actually understand the music? Do people in my assembly have any knowledge of music to identify the truth? He made an announcement. What announcement he made? He made an announcement that who sways their head while listening the music of the Tansen, their heads will be cut from their body. Now everyone was very afraid now what the king will do. Now what he did, but at the Tansen started singing, and most of the courtiers, what they did, they were just sitting. They did not sway the heads. Now the king realized that there are very few of the people are there who knows the meaning of the music. So it is said that when a person is engrossed, he does not remember anything else. So now Acharya Manitung, what he is doing? Acharya Manitung was immersed in the stuti of Lord Rishabh. In the same way, now we all are doing Bhaktamar Stotra. What we have to do? We should also feel like that my itself, I am is a Acharya Manitung. If you feel yourself that I am Acharya Manitung, and with full concentration, if we will do, what will happen? And now he say that everyone is praising you. Even the Indras is praising you. Everyone is praising you. Itself mine, I'm also praising you, so that my knowledge, but Lord, my knowledge and power is very inferior compared to Indra's profound knowledge and powers. What should I do now? So deep concentration and focus gave Acharya Manitung his solution. He was in very problem that what could I do? Now he concluded that I may not be Indra, I am not a god, king of deities, but I am indeed your disciple and follower. So this phrase, what does it say? I am also. I am also, it combines the I means a sign of ego, and also word says the sign of humility. Here, when Acharya Manitung says will also pray to you. We can see his humility. Acharya Manitum concluded that while he may not be as powerful as Indra, but still he is a Lord, devotee of Lord Rishabh. That's why I am praising you again and again. So in this second slok, what Acharya Manitum has done, he prays to the Lord Rishabh. So it said that he prays to the Lord Rishabh, and after praising, you see, he decided that now what the result comes. The first result came, physical and mental shackles can be broken. The second came, deep concentration and focus. If you want to increase your concentration and focus, recite number 2 slok. Negative thoughts and headache will go away. And if this all thing will go away, what will happen? You can live a very happy and peaceful life. So at least for 1 week, what you all have to do, try to recite daily this slok 7 times. So what are the life lessons we can learn from the slok 1 and 2? So why it's necessary to learn Bhaktamar and why the number 1 and 2 slok is very important. Number 1, I have the power to eradicate the darkness of sin from my soul. If there are a lot of kashais, as I have said before, Krodh, Man, Maya, Lobh, anger, I can eradicate it. Number 2, only when we move away from our soul and ignore self-realization, the problem arises. So I will not move away from my soul. Number 3, one gains victory over problems through willpower and consequently enjoys the moment of happiness, peace, and bliss. We should pay respect and bow down to our elders whenever we meet. So number 5 is deep concentration and focus increase when we are free from the physical and mental shackles. So we have to increase our concentration and focus. Now you can write down your homework also. Follow for 1 week life lessons, whatever the life lessons were, and recite the slok for 7 times a daily. Now, if you do Bhaktamar, as I have said, daily, you will live a peaceful and happy life. And Om Aram. Before I do Om Arham, I would like to tell one story. I would like to conclude my talk with a very short story. So what are the importance of the first slok and second slok? You all came to know. Now there's a very beautiful story. There was one thief, and he was a very clever thief, and his name was Sudatta. And once he was caught red-handed while stealing. Now he was brought before the king. The intemperate king rebuked the thief and asked, "Tell me, where do you keep the stolen goods?" As he was a thief, he knew all the crooked policy. He has a very smart mind, and we cannot say smart mind, but we can say bad mind, we can say. So he thought that if he named some rich person, the king would be pleased on having attained the wealth, and I would be free. Hence he spoke that the stolen material is which said him that I am not stealing. He is saying me to steal, and I steal and I give to him. Now the king sent for the Seth immediately by sending a messenger. No sooner the man received the message than he reached the royal palace. On seeing the Seth, the king spoke, "Bravo, oh Seth, I thought you to be the religious person, but today I found that your worship, adoration, fast, everything is hypocrisy. Everything is a lie. You are not saying the right thing. You are not praying. Just you are showing me." Now the Seth thought, "Oh my God, what the king is saying." "Tell me now," the king said, Where have you hidden the stolen wealth? The sage was wonderstruck. He said, O king, what are you telling? I am seeing this person for the first time. Then how I could know about the stolen wealth? No sooner the sage could finish his speech than the thief spoke in a very logical style. And he said, O king, be kind to this poor man. O sage, if you do not wish to give the wealth, you may not give, no problem. But please do not tell a lie. The thief spoke in such a style that the king firmly believed in him. He spoke so much of atrocity on his poor fellow in spite of being religious. He said, Oh sage, you are very bad man. And he spoke very, very bad thing to the sage. Now the king got punishment and he ordered his courtiers throw the sage in the well. Now what the sage can do? He didn't it. Now what the sage did? He remembered the Lord Adina, the Lord Rishabh, the first fort founder with full faith and adoration. He chanted the first and the second verses of the Bhaktamar with all the rituals. Consequently, the Vijaya deity, a god, appeared. She appreciated and praised the sage. She took him out of the black veil and got him decorated on the golden throne with many of the ornaments and lot of the things. Now she further told, if you allow me, I can give a good punishment to the king, the terrific king who has given you this bad punishment. The sage replied, Oh goddess, no necessity. What is the fault of the king? This was the fruition of my previously bonded karmas. So whatever the karmas I will bind, I will get in the future that one only. So no need to punish the king. The king is the instrument alone. As soon as now what happened, the king got the news, and as he got the news, he came immediately runningly and asked the forgiveness, and he felt very ashamed. He asked a pardon that I have done a very big mistake. The king begged the pardon again and again from the goddesses also as well as from the sage. He took him to the royal palace with great respect and pomp and show. Now the thief was called. Now what the thief got punishment? His face was blackened. Then he was taken round the city on an ass. He was banished from the land, and the severe punishment he got, so that in the future no one will do the stealing. So stealing is a very bad habit. Today you will today for suppose one will steal rubber. Next day what he will steal? Pencil. Next day what he will do? New things he will. And he will become a very great big dacoit. So stealing is a very bad thing. Now what he did? The kind-hearted, the Hemdad, the sage was very kind-hearted, and he said to the king, please, king, you pardon, you give forgiveness to the thief. And this was done so as to make them possible to lead the religious life, so that the thief also can live a religious life. Now the folk present there raised slogans of the victory. Everyone said, long, long ago, leave the city, and victory, victory for Jainism. And the king adopted the Jainism. And he said that from today, what I will do, I will also recite the Bhaktamar Stotra. So this is the importance of the Bhaktamar Stotra. So today we have learned Bhaktamar Shlok number 1, number 2, and we also have learned the meaning of each word. So I hope all of you have understand that what's the meaning of Bhaktamar Stotra, why Acharya Manitu was given in the jail, why the problem came, and how he solved the solution. So these all the things we have learned, and I think so I hope every one of you understood. Om Arham. Now, if you have any questions and if you want again to recite the slok, we will recite the 2 sloks again. Number 1 slok and the number 2 slok. I think so every one of you have the sloks. Just you can take out your sloks and concentrate on your book and listen to me carefully. Okay? Number 1 slok. Bhaktamara pranite mauni mani pradhana murtyo takam dalite papitamuvitanam samyak pranamya chine pade yugam yugada बालम वनम भवे जले पतितां जनानाम्. Second sloka. यः संस्तुतः सकले वाङ्मयतत्त्वे बुधा दुर्भूते बुद्धि पटुभिः सूर्यलोके नाथे स्तोत्रे जगत्त्रितय चित्ते हरै रुधारै स्तोष्ये किलाहमपि तं प्रथमं जिनेन्द्रम्. Om Arham. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask me.
समी जी, क्वेश्चन लेने से पहले हम इंट्रोडक्शन का पार्ट कर लेते हैं जो आशीष भैया ने स्टार्टिंग में कहा था